Hey guys, we're going to do another video on one-step equations. This is a skill we want to get down really well. So we're going to try some more problems and see if you're kind of getting the hang of it. To start us off, we're going to try an example. We're going to try a problem here. And this is an example of what a one-step equation is. If I told you I had x take away 7 and it was equal to 21. That means some number x that I don't know yet, if I take 7 away, I get 21. Now I probably could think that through in my head and kind of guess like what number if I take 7 away gives me 21. But what we're actually trying to do is learn how to show whatever goes on in our head on paper. So this is one of the strategies we're using in our class. We go to the equal sign and we put a line down the middle of the equal sign. At the very bottom, we want an answer for x. We want x to equal a number, some number that we're trying to figure out. So here's the x. It's already on the left side. A lot of times we look at this, okay, here's the left, here's the right side. It's like two sides of the line. What I need to get away from the x is I need this -7, this -7 to go away. Well, I can't just like randomly take it away unless I do this. If I'm like, you know what? A +7 and a -7, when they go together, make 0. If I put a +7 on both sides of this equation, well, that would definitely get rid of this to 0, and I would have just an x. And over here, 21 plus 7 would give me 28. And that's my answer, 28. We actually kind of have like a fancy name for this in algebra. We name this step, we call it the addition property of equality. Addition property of equality. And what that means is we're using adding because we added the 7, so that's why we call it the addition property. In math, property is another way of saying it's a rule. So this is an addition rule about doing something equally. We're adding 7 equally to both sides. So that's where the equality comes in. So we're adding, it's a rule about equally to both sides, so addition property of equality. Now probably, if you can't remember all those words and you kind of forget that after a while, that's probably okay. Not a lot of people walk around being like, I'm using the addition property of equality right now. But it is kind of nice to hear those words and remember what they mean because you're going to hear other math teachers say things like this, and I don't want it to be unfamiliar to you. It is good to kind of understand it a little bit. So let's try another problem. Let's do an example 2. Here's another type of problem we could do. For the next problem, instead of solving for x, we're going to solve for m. We'll change the variable. We're going to say that 4 plus m, whatever m is equal to a -10. 4 plus m is equal to a -10. Now we know the strategy is to put the line down the middle of the equal sign. And at the very bottom, we want an answer for m. We want to know what does m equal. Now m is already over here. So what do we want to move away from the m? We want to move the 4 away. We want the 4 to go away so it just says m equals. But I can't just make the 4 go away unless I do something. This is a +4. So to get rid of it, what I'm thinking is, okay, well, let's take the 4 away. 4 minus 4 would give me 0. It would take it away. But I can't just do that to the left unless I equally do that to the right. I'm going to take 4 away from both sides, doing it equally to both sides. That's another property. If I'm equally doing something, this time I'm subtracting the 4 away. So this is the subtraction property. It's a rule about subtracting. Subtraction property of equality, which is really the fancy way of saying I am equally subtracting from both sides. So I'm taking 4 away from both sides. And that gets rid of the 4's here, so I have what I want at the bottom, m equals, and a -10 and a -4, when you put those together, is a -14. So I end up with the answer, -14. Now, if you're still kind of struggling with your negative and positive numbers, that could add a challenge to this question. If you're like, well, how is this -14? A lot of people think it's -6 accidentally. But think about it. You have 10 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you have 4 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you count up all those negatives, you have 14. 14 negatives. Okay, so let's try another one, as we're kind of on a roll right now. How about an example 3 that looks like this? Example 3. Let's solve for y this time. Let's say we had y minus 5 equals negative 9. Y minus 5 equals negative 9. Now I want to know what y is. It's actually a number. It's not a letter or variable. It's a number. We got to figure it out. It's a mystery number. So we know we go to the equal sign, put a line down the middle. We know y is over here, so we're going to have at the bottom y equals in an answer. And we also know that to get the y all by itself, that 5 needs to go away. We need to get rid of that 5. So right now I'm looking at it and saying, okay, well, it's a minus 5. So if I added a positive 5 to it, negative and a positive would make this cancel out to 0. It would get rid of it. But I can't do it to one side unless I do it to both sides. So I'm also going to put a positive 5 over here. Now I'm getting close to an answer. I've got y all by itself. I just have to know my negative and positive numbers. So let's think about this. I have negative 9 plus 5. Negative 9 means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 negatives. Positive 5 means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positives. Okay, well, let's think about that. A negative and a positive make 0. So I'm going to pair these up to zeros. These are all zeros right now. And really, if I get rid of all the zeros, I'm left with that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm left with 4 negatives. So my answer is negative 4. That's a visual way of thinking about these negative and positive numbers. You might be able to look at negative 9 plus 5 and you might already know the rules. Hey, different signs. The rule is to subtract. 9 take away 5 is 4. You might already have that down. Okay, and if I really wanted to get fancy about this problem, what did we do? We added 5 to both sides, so we're going to call this the addition property of equality. So addition, I'm going to write property, I'm just going to write prop of equality. We added 5 equally to both sides. There's my addition property of equality. Please keep watching these one-step videos. I'm going to post some more so you can continue to practice these skills. You really want to get this down because eventually it won't be a one-step problem. It'll be a 7-step problem. And when you have 7 steps, you want to be able to organize your work really well so you don't get lost. So thanks for watching and look for more videos, please.